Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, back again with another video and back again with Plantmas Day 3. If you're unfamiliar with Plantmas, this is a series I started on my channel last year where I post videos every single day from December 14th all the way through to December 25th, and every single video has a giveaway to say thank you to all of you for your support for the entire year. So it's just a fun time, holiday extravaganza over here, so I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, let's jump into today's video, which is an end of year review spread. If you've been following me for a while, you will have seen my mid-year review spread that I created back in the summer, and a number of you had requested that I do an end-of-year review. So that is this spread, and it's really simple. I chose 10 questions to focus on to encourage all of us to really take a good look at 2020, to hopefully spark some deep reflection that can help us to process what this ridiculous year has been and set ourselves up for a better 2021. So for the actual style of the spread, I've kept it really simple here. This spread is much more about the content than about the aesthetics, though obviously you can incorporate whatever kind of aesthetic or artistic elements you want to into a spread like this. I decided to just keep it super simple. So here are the 10 questions I chose to include. Number 1. Describe 2020 in one sentence. I felt like this would be good just to distill everything down into the simplest form possible to maybe try to wrap our heads around this year. Question 2. What's one way your life has changed for the better? I really wanted to include something like this to try to highlight something positive from this year. 2020 has been such a difficult year for so many of us, but I really hope that there has been at least one positive thing that has happened in your life, one way that your life has changed for the better in 2020. So I encourage you to find that thing, even if it is the only thing, and to write it here. Question number 3 is, what was the biggest challenge you faced? And every year is full of challenges, but I think 2020 has really taken the cake for challenging years, at least in my lifetime. So I think again, it can help to reduce this down to the single biggest challenge, to focus on something that you were able to overcome, the hardest thing you faced, as a reminder that no matter how hard it gets, we can persevere, we can overcome. Even a year like 2020, we can survive. Question number 4 is, what would you go back and change, and why? My intention for this question is for it to be related to things that you yourself did, not outside forces. So I think a lot of us would maybe initially say, well, I'd go back and stop COVID from taking over the world, but I think it's more helpful to focus on something that you did or didn't do, something that was actually under your control for the year. For me, what comes to mind are things that I didn't do this year that I should have to take care of my own physical and mental health. So I encourage you to think in that realm, things that you did or didn't do that if you could, you would go back and change. Because when you look at it from this perspective, it gives you a little more direction for the next year. It helps you to see something that you did or didn't do in 2020 that you wish you had, and hopefully that will encourage you to do or not do that thing in 2021 to have a better year. Question number 5 is, what major life lesson or lessons did you learn? I think it probably would have been impossible to get through 2020 without learning at least one major life lesson. I know I have learned several. So take the time to really think about it. What has this year taught you? What have you learned? Hold on to those lessons, because the hard times really do teach us a lot. And if we forget the lessons that they teach us, then all of that struggle feels wasted. Moving on to question 6, list your aha moments. I think this is always fun, just going back through the year and thinking about times when something finally clicked for you, whether it's something you hadn't even realized you were worrying about or a problem that you were actively trying to solve. When you have that aha moment, when those connections are made, when you have that realization, it can be such a life-changing moment. And whether it's a positive or a negative, sometimes those aha moments are actually very difficult, but I do think they're meaningful, and I think there's value in recognizing those moments and recording them for posterity. Number 7, did you achieve your goals this year? This can be a hard one, especially if you're like me and you dropped most of your goals when 2020 turned into the firestorm that it has been. But I think it's important to acknowledge where things went wrong, especially for future reference. If we ever have another year like 2020, which, knock on wood, I certainly hope we never do, but if we do, going into it with a knowledge of how it will challenge us and what we can do to try to circumvent those challenges, to overcome them, to better fulfill our goals and our purpose, that is valuable. So take the time, look at your goals. Did you achieve them? I would encourage you to list out any and all goals that you set at the beginning of the year or through the year and whether they were achieved or not. Moving on to question 8, which is a follow-up to question 7, and it is, if so, how? So take this time to write out how you actually achieved the goals that you did achieve. Again, this is so that you can wrap your head around how you managed to do that and to be able to use those techniques in the future to achieve goals even when you're going through a hard time. And the second follow-up question is number 9, if not, why? So again, take the time to analyze the goals that you didn't achieve and why you didn't achieve them. There are some goals that I did not achieve in 2020 that I am a little disappointed in myself for, and I would like to refocus on for 2021. And there are some goals for 2020 that were made impossible by circumstances out of my control or just became less of a priority with everything happening in the world. And that is okay. I think it's good to recognize what goals were not achieved from our own lack of effort or focus or whatever the reasons may be, versus goals that were not achieved because of outside interference, and to kind of absolve ourselves of responsibility for those goals that we just couldn't have achieved because of the circumstances of our life and how our lives have changed. So I wanted to include these questions because I think they will really help for goal setting and hopefully goal achieving in the next year. And that leads us into the last question for this review, which I wanted to have a forward focus towards 2021. So the final question, or really it's not a question, it's a prompt, is set just one primary goal for 2021 using the SMART technique for goal setting, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. This is a way to take everything you learned through your end of year review, through your reflection over 2020 and how you did or didn't achieve your goals, and funnel all of that learning into one single goal for 2021. Don't overdo it. Don't list 25 goals. Just think of one. What is your number one priority? What is that one goal you really want to achieve in 2021? Write it out using SMART. Make sure you use those guidelines so that it really is that specific, attainable, measurable goal, and be as specific as possible. Really make it feel like a fully fleshed out plan. Give yourself that head start. And if you decide you want to create more goals for 2021, you do you. Of course, you can set as many as you want, but I highly encourage you to use all of this reflection to funnel into that one single primary goal that you're really going to focus on achieving in the new year. I think there's so much value in simplifying and focusing on fewer things at a time, really sorting out our priorities and figuring out what it is that really matters to us, what it is that really brings value to our lives, because it's easy to get distracted by other things in life that really don't matter. And I think 2020 has taught me, and probably has taught some of you, if not all of you, what really matters in life. Who are the people that matter? What are the things that really matter? What are things that we thought were important that really aren't nearly as important as we'd built them up to be? Figuring out our true values and priorities as we get older is such an important part of growing as a person, and hopefully finding our way to living the most fulfilling life possible. So that is my end of year review spread. I am planning on sitting down the last week of this year and taking the time to really thoughtfully go through these questions and prompts and take it as a quiet reflection time. Probably light a candle, cuddle up under a blanket, maybe have a cup of tea, and make a night out of it. So I hope that this inspires you if you want to create your own end of year review spread. Hopefully some of these questions or prompts resonate with you or give you ideas for your own questions and prompts that you want to focus on. If you're comfortable sharing, I would love to know what your primary goal for 2021 is. I feel like it can be so inspiring to see other people's number one primary goal, what they're really focusing on, and can sometimes help to kind of get those juices flowing and make us realize something that maybe we have been ignoring or haven't even considered that could really bring value to our lives. So if you feel comfortable sharing your SMART goal for 2021, I would love to see it. Or if you feel more comfortable sharing your answer to question number 1, summarizing your 2020 in a single sentence, then share that down below. Or, share both. I'd love to read your comments and respond to as many as I can. I hope this video is helpful for you in creating your own end of year review spread. And before I go, let's talk about today's giveaway. As with all of the Plantmas giveaways, this giveaway is open internationally. No matter where you live in the world, you can enter to win. All of the rules are in the description box, so check that out. The winner will be selected in 24 hours, so make sure you enter now. Today's giveaway is an exciting one. One winner will be winning Notebook Therapy's Suki Torii limited edition 160 GSM bullet journal. You can get it in either their original size or traditional A5 size. You'll also be winning their red pop-up pencil case from their winter collection. These are such a perfect pair, so make sure you enter if you want to win. Make sure you check out the rules in the description box, and good luck to everyone. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons for their support. If you want to join the squad, feel free. There's a link in the card and in the description box down below. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon in my next one tomorrow for Plantmas Day 4. Bye, friends.